Time to get an update on the news that we need to know with Issue Today, and our Friday reporter Angela Chung is in the studio. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning.
TGIF.
Yes.
I always notice our voices are very different on Monday and Friday, right? We always do the Mondays and Friday. We close off and also start a new week. Our voices, our expressions are always a little bit different. Yes, we're always a little bit happier on Friday. All right, let's get to our first news story. This has been all over the news, so I'm sure our listeners are kind of familiar with it, but sometimes we're not so familiar because we don't know how it applies to us in our daily lives. But we're talking about urea solution or the shortage in urea solutions. So tell us more about this.
Sure. To get our cars moving, we usually need gasoline or these days electricity for our vehicles. And likewise, urea solution is an essential source of power for vehicles powered by diesel, such as cargo trucks, fire trucks, delivery trucks, and machineries used in agriculture business. But recently, the supply of urea solutions has run out, and under the law of supply and demand, the prices have surged 10 times from 10,000 won per liter to 100,000 won now. So some people actually sold urea solutions at an online cafe for 100,000 won per liter. And it's a serious issue because without the supply of urea solutions, all types of vehicles using them as energy will be brought to a halt.
So once again, the types of vehicles that use it are essential for our daily life, like the fire trucks, the delivery trucks. Hello, yes. So that might affect all of that. But for many of us who are not that familiar with urea solution, 요소수, tell us, if you can, as simply as possible as you can, what exactly that is.
Yes, it's a rare chemical substance, so if you drive a diesel car, I'm sure you're familiar with it. Urea water solution is a chemical substance required for selective catalytic reduction inside your car called SCR device, designed to remove nitrogen oxide emitted from certain vehicles. So for cargo trucks and buses, it's mandatory to have SCR device installed. In Korea, Lotte Fine Chemicals, Huchem Fine Chemical Corporation, and KG Chemical import and produce urea solutions. Last year, over 200 million liters of urea solutions were sold in the domestic market.
All right, so now let's go to our next question. What's the cause of the current supply shortage?
So China's export ban on urea solution is a main cause of this supply shortage issue. To produce urea, you need coal to extract ammonia from it. But since China has suffered from coal shortages, they just virtually banned all exports by strengthening screening processes for its exporting goods on October 15th. Korea relies hugely on China for most of its urea solution supplies. So statistics by Korea International Trade Association shows that last year, 88.5% of imported urea solutions for vehicles in Korea came from China, and the number kept going up to 97.7% in September this year, meaning Korea's dependence on China for urea solution has gotten even greater.
So if the problem is from outside Korea, it sounds like an issue for the government to take a stand or some measures. What is the government's measures for this?
The Korean government has asked the Chinese leadership to resume urea solution exports, at least for industry they need the most. In case the current supply shortage issue gets prolonged, the government is reviewing plans to diversify exporter channels such as Russia for importing urea solutions. However, supplies from Russia could also begin early next year at the earliest, so a month of hiatus could be inevitable.
So more disruptions and maybe deliveries as well. All right. Let's hope that they figure out a way soon. Moving on to our second story. As of yesterday, it's exactly 2 weeks to the Sunung, or the D-Day for high school seniors and also Jesu and maybe even Samsusengs. But the issue is, of course, the number of COVID-19 daily cases is in the 2000s. And particularly, I think among the teenagers, the numbers are going up as well. For those reasons, stronger measures are going to be introduced introduced to enable students to be able to concentrate on their test and not on COVID-19.
That's right. So it's not an exaggeration to say that many students in and out of school systems study longer than 3 years just for this Sunung, KSAT. So special measures should be in place to make sure that there are no COVID-19 infection-related health issues on the D-Day. Recognizing this, the government plans to enforce stringent disinfection measures in the lead up to the test. For 2 weeks before the exam day, the government will check readiness of universities regarding on-site disinfection measures until November 12th. The Ministry of Education, of course, and education offices around the nation plan to check if disinfection measures have been complied with at 320 private education centers, where large numbers of students are expected to gather. And relevant ministries and local authorities will also check how disinfection measures are taken at internet cafes and study cafes.
So once again, that big D-Day or Sunung is November 18th, fighting to all the students, test takers, and also their parents as well. Let's move on to our last story. On TV these days, it's great to see more sort of coverage of people with developmental disabilities. And these appearances help us to become much more aware of them and also some of the problems that they incur as well. So Seoul City has some good news regarding people with developmental disabilities, some more support measures.
Yes, the Seoul City government laid out its second basic plan for people with developmental disabilities, putting about 350 billion won budget into 5 main policies by 2025. They include helping them to gain the ability to live independently, inducing the local community to embrace and empathize with them, establishing an emergency response system, expanding family support, and laying out a basis for smart services that combine welfare and technology. These policies include solutions to common situations they could face when there's no one to take care of them after their parents who have looked after them pass away.
Exactly. So some practical solutions, and hopefully they will be very helpful for those people with developmental disabilities. Thank you very much for those news items. Angela, have a great weekend.
You too?
We will see you hopefully happier on Monday as well. Have a great weekend.
You
All
too.
right,
Thank
bye.
you.